little younger here. Drummer, drum set instructor, 512 band director. And that was Magic Flight by Pink Project, a real banger from 1982. And guess what? We're back with another edition of Cole Talks About Cymbals. Thanks for joining me, guys. Hey, I wanted to take another few minutes here and take you through another one of my favorite Zildjian cymbal setups. Rocking the old K Zildjian shirt today, and you'll see why. Because these are my favorite cymbals for any sort of groove situation or backbeat situation. If I'm playing a rock gig or a pop gig, or if I'm just recording something here in the studio that has a good steady backbeat, rock, pop, country, worship, anything like that. These are my go-tos, or they have been at least for a very long time. Thanks again to Zildjian Company for making fantastic instruments for hundreds of years. Again, the oldest family-owned business in America. So let me start over here on my left side once again with my hi-hats. This time we have a lovely set of 14-inch K Custom Session hi-hats. Hey, look. Recognize that K? Anyway, I love these hi-hats. They're the GOAT as far as playing anything groove-based or backbeat-based goes, for me at least. They were designed by the great session drummer Steve Gadd. And if you know anything about Steve Gadd, he is a chameleon of a drummer. He can play any style, and that's why he created these hi-hats, so he could seamlessly go from rock to jazz to funk to R&B to some Latin thing. And they do it all, and they sound great. They're kind of unique hi-hats. They are technically 14-inch hi-hats. However, contrary to most hi-hat pairs, with most hi-hat pairs, you have a heavier cymbal on the bottom, a thinner cymbal on the top. These are the opposite. The bottom cymbal of these is medium thin. The top cymbal here that I'm holding is medium, so it's heavier. It's also a 1/16 of an inch smaller than the bottom cymbal. And you can see it's very heavily hammered too, giving it that dark, lush sound that records really well, but it also projects really well live, and that's due to the little heavier weight here. The heavier weight also really helps out with stick articulation, a good stick sound. Really has a good solid chick and a great wash when you're playing them loose. These hi-hats, I've often been told, sound bigger than they are. A lot of people think that I'm playing like 15s or something like that, but these are indeed 14-inch hi-hats, kind of the industry standard size, or they used to be. Bigger seems to be more the norm these days, but I love these. And so let me play them a little bit for you here. You can hear them first, just how they sound with the foot. There we go. Nice beefy chick. There we go. Just the stick, I'll give you a little shank tip action here. Real thick sounding, right? And if I play some looser stuff, right? Play a little groove example here for you, right? Anybody know what song that was inspired by? If you do, comment below. Okay, on to my next cymbal here. This is my new favorite crash cymbal. There goes my cymbal wing nut there. Got it, don't worry. This is a 20-inch K. Imagine that, it's a K. 20-inch K, paper thin crash. This thing is thin, man. Look at the flex on that. That scares me a little bit doing that, but they do it all the time in the demo videos, don't worry. Super thin cymbal, nice big 20-inch size. They've only been making the paper thins for about a year. They used to be a lot more commonplace back in the 40s, 50s, 60s. But as the need for louder cymbals got to be higher with rock music, they kind of made them thicker so they'd project more. However, I love a really thin cymbal because it's super musical. You can do nice washy builds on it. It responds with the lightest touch. It opens up fast. It gets out of the way quick. It's very musical, very friendly to your fellow musicians, and pleasing to the ear, if you will, right? This cymbal works wonderfully as a crash, obviously, but you can do some nice crash riding on it too. Has a very, very buttery stick feel. A nice bell. It's got a big bell, which helps with the volume of the cymbal. But again, it's not overbearing because it's pretty darn thin. It's very, very heavily hammered and has a low profile like the K's. I'll play it for you here in a few different examples. Here's just a nice stick sound. So, good woody stick, right? Here's a crash. Full-bodied, low-pitched, not too low. Again, it's a little bit more mid-range, right? But it gets out of the way pretty fast. Do a nice build on it just with I'll use some mallets actually. I do a little wash here. Yeah, nice crescendo. Again, nice big bell. And if I'm going to do some sort of a crash ride sort of thing, there's a little preview of another cymbal coming up, right? We'll get to that in a second. So 20-inch K paper thin crash, love it, super musical. It's pretty much always here on my left side if I'm playing any sort of groove or backbeat style of music. Okay, next. Probably the one that I get asked about the most. This is my stacker that I came up with using pre-existing Zildjian models, right? It's 3 cymbals here. We'll start with the bottom. On the bottom, I have a 12-inch K splash, which is a great splash, by the way, one of my favorites. On top of that, I have one of the very first cymbals I ever owned. This came with a set. This is a ZXT titanium flash splash. These were kind of like intermediate level cymbals that Zildjian made back in the early 2000s. They were all made with this silver finish. And the logos, they just left unfinished, so they didn't actually stamp them. They just didn't finish those parts. But I thought they were super cool when I was, in middle school and high school. I had a whole set of these, which I've since sold. All except for the splash for whatever reason. I don't know why I still had it, but I use it all the time now as the middle cymbal on my stack. So here, put that on there. And then on top, I have the trusty, relatively inexpensive as far as cymbals goes, 8-inch trash former, right, from the FX line. It's got the real warped profile. I did not do that to it. That's how they come. Gives them a very trashy sound. By the way, the titanium one was a 10-inch, so the stack goes 12, 10, 8 on top. Put it on top here. Put my wing nut on there. By the way, somebody asked what kind of wing nuts I'm using. These are the Tama quick release. They're so nice. They're fast. You don't have to screw around with, unscrewing and screwing on your wing nuts and then dropping them, even though I just dropped mine. Makes for really quick changes. So, got my stack on there, my wing nut back on there. And this is just sort of a, special effects. Can give me a nice sort of clap sound almost. Or an alternative snare sound, I guess. I might play something, Or, maybe I'm coming out of a big washy, loud chorus. I want to keep the backbeat going, but like not in a full-bodied snare way, I can use that stack there. So could be kind of an auxiliary hi-hat too, but it's fun, right? And then last of all, over here on my right side, this might be one of my all-time favorite cymbals that Zildjian makes. It's a workhorse. It's a big one too. The 22-inch Zildjian K Light Ride. Just the classic K Light Ride. Isn't that cool, that crater hammering? Man, that's trippy looking under these lights here. There it is, though. You can see. Again, very heavily hammered. Very big. Pretty darn low profile. Nice bell. Medium thin in weight. There's the bottom, right? But I love this cymbal. And I could use this for anything. I could use it for rock, I know I said this is my backbeat groove setup, but I could use this on a big band gig or a small group jazz gig, and I have, and it works great. It's a workhorse. And the beautiful thing about this, it's not just a ride, it's a beautiful crash. You heard me maybe crashing earlier there. It rides, it crashes, it does it all, which is kind of how I like my cymbals, to be very multi-use, multi-purpose musical instruments, because that's what they are. They're musical instruments, right? Check this out. Here's just some different examples, just playing it with the stick. Very good pronounced stick sound. Very nice, dark, smoky wash. Here's the bell. Great for a rock tune or a Latin tune or anything like that, funk. If I want to throw a little bell accent in there, and check out the crash on this thing. Ready? Yeah. It's a beautiful, big, lush crash. One more time. Yeah. The Zildjian 22-inch K Light Ride. I love it. And that's my setup for groove, backbeat-based music. I know it's not a lot of cymbals, but as I've grown older and played more, I've gravitated towards more minimalist setups like this because, A, it's just way easier to carry around. It doesn't take up as much room on stage. As a drum set instructor, a lot of my students maybe don't have a ton of cymbals, so this kind of matches maybe in terms of just numbers of, instruments available, what they might have on their setups. And it also kind of inspires me to be more creative, having fewer options to go to. But again, these options give me so many different sounds from, again, just basically 4 different cymbals here. I have 2 crashes, I have 2 rides, and my hats and my stacker. So there you have it, ladies and gents. Zildjian knocking it out of the park as always, and I appreciate you watching this video. If you stuck with me through the whole thing, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to ColeOnDrums. There'll be more more content, easy for me to say, coming your way, much like this, very, very soon. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Zildjian. Take care. Bye-bye.